The power of your story lies in the fact that it is uniquely yours. It's woven from your experiences, your triumphs, your failures, and your growth. Every chapter of your life has value, but not every chapter needs to be shared with the world. We live in a time where the pressure to be constantly open and transparent is ever present. But the truth is, some parts of our story are not for public consumption. There are moments that are meant to be kept private, not because we are hiding something, but because there's power in preserving certain parts of ourselves. Think about the process of writing a book. You don't publish every draft. You don't expose the raw, unedited pages of the story that's still being written. In the same way, your life isn't a public manuscript. Not every detail, not every struggle, not every success needs to be shared for validation or recognition. Some of the most defining moments of your life are the ones that haven't been shared with anyone but yourself, because those are the moments where the real transformation occurs. Your story is a journey, and sometimes the path to who you are becoming requires solitude, introspection, and growth in private. Not every chapter is ready to be unveiled to the world. There's wisdom in the restraint to hold back. The power comes when you choose when and how to reveal your story. What is sacred is often best kept close to you, where it can shape you without external interference. In protecting parts of your narrative, you preserve the authenticity and the integrity of who you are. The world doesn't need to see every detail. Sometimes keeping parts of your journey private allows you to see more clearly where you're headed, free from the distractions and opinions of others. It's about honoring your own timeline, your own rhythm, and remembering that not all chapters are meant for others to read before you're ready. Vulnerability is often seen as a strength, yet it's important to understand that not every moment of vulnerability needs to be shared with the world. There's an inherent power in being open, but there's also wisdom in choosing when and where that openness is appropriate. In a world that sometimes values the appearance of perfection over authenticity, it's easy to feel pressure to expose every part of ourselves. But the truth is, vulnerability without discretion can leave you exposed in ways that aren't healthy or helpful. When we share our vulnerabilities, we often open ourselves up to connection and understanding. It can build bridges, deepen relationships, and inspire others. However, there's a delicate balance between being vulnerable and protecting yourself. Being vulnerable with the right people, in the right spaces, at the right time. This is where true strength lies. There's value in knowing when to keep certain parts of yourself protected, especially when sharing those parts might lead to misunderstanding or judgment. Not every struggle needs to be made public. While sharing your pain or your challenges with others can bring healing, it can also leave you in a place of unnecessary exposure. Some things are better worked through in private, where you can process them without outside influence or unwanted opinions. There's a sacredness in keeping parts of your emotional life protected, where you can heal and grow without constantly defending yourself or explaining why you feel the way you do. In relationships too, vulnerability needs to be navigated carefully. When we expose too much too soon, we risk overwhelming others or giving them too much power over our emotional state. Not everyone is equipped to hold our vulnerabilities, and sometimes in sharing too much, we end up feeling more alone instead of more connected. True vulnerability doesn't come from oversharing. It comes from being intentional about the space in which we reveal our hearts and trusting that the right people will see us for who we are without needing to explain everything. In the end, vulnerability is about strength and trust, not weakness or exposure. It's about knowing that your heart is precious and that, in the right moments, sharing it can lead to incredible connection. But it's also about understanding that not every piece of your soul is meant for public display. Vulnerability, when guarded with wisdom, has the potential to transform, but it must be handled with care. Personal finances and goals are areas of life that often carry a lot of weight. Yet they are too easily shared without thought or consideration. In today's world where comparison runs rampant and everyone seems to have an opinion on how you should be managing your money, it's essential to recognize the value in keeping your financial matters private. Money, while necessary and important, can quickly become a source of pressure, judgment, or competition. It's not just about how much you earn, but about the dreams and aspirations tied to that money. When you open up your financial situation to others, it's not just about sharing numbers. It's about inviting outside opinions into a deeply personal journey. Financial goals often serve as a roadmap to our future, whether that's saving for a home, building a retirement fund, or pursuing an entrepreneurial venture. But sharing those goals too openly can expose you to criticism, or worse, diminish the value of those goals in your own eyes. People may not understand your financial priorities or may push their own perspectives onto your decisions. Some might think you should be doing something differently, or they might question your choices altogether. The problem with oversharing your financial goals is that it allows external voices to drown out your inner wisdom. These goals are yours and they should be protected. Your financial situation is not just about numbers. It's about the choices you make with your resources. It reflects your values, your discipline, and the long-term vision you have for your life. Not everyone needs to know where you stand financially because the world doesn't always understand the journey you're on. What others perceive as success or stability may not align with what you see as fulfillment or security. Sharing too much about your financial situation can lead to unwanted pressure or unrealistic expectations. It's also important to remember that finances are not static. They evolve over time. What works for you in one season might not work in another. Keeping your financial plans private allows you to adjust your strategies without outside interference. There's no need to explain why you're making certain sacrifices or investments. Those decisions should be yours alone. The constant pressure to measure up in the eyes of others can be suffocating, especially when it comes to something as personal as finances. Beyond that, the act of working toward financial goals requires patience and persistence. Keeping these goals private allows you to pursue them on your own timeline without the rush or urgency imposed by outside forces. The process of working towards something significant, whether that's eliminating debt, building wealth, or achieving financial independence, is often slow and requires sustained focus. When you share too much, it can shift the energy away from the work itself and focus it instead on the perception of others. Protecting the details of your financial life doesn't mean you should keep yourself isolated or refuse help when needed. It simply means that some parts of your journey should be protected, allowing you the space to grow, make mistakes, and ultimately find success on your own terms. Your financial choices are an extension of your personal values and priorities, and those are things that deserve respect. Relationship dynamics are among the most sacred aspects of our lives, yet they are also some of the most vulnerable. Whether it's a romantic partner, a close friend, or family, the relationships we form are deeply personal. When we open up about these relationships too freely, we risk undermining the trust and the intimacy that make them special. Not every detail of your relationships needs to be aired out, because sometimes the more we share with others, the more we disrupt the sacred space that these bonds occupy. In every relationship, there are moments of growth, tension, joy, and struggle. These moments, especially the more challenging ones, don't need to be publicized. When we share every argument, every disagreement, or every moment of discomfort with others, we risk creating a narrative that doesn't truly reflect the full picture of the relationship. People outside the relationship may not understand the context, and they may offer advice or opinions that are more harmful than helpful. When we allow others to shape the perception of our relationships, we open the door for confusion, judgment, or misinterpretation. There's also the issue of respect. Each person in a relationship deserves to have their private thoughts, actions, and feelings respected. Constantly sharing intimate details without their consent can feel like a violation. Just as you have the right to keep parts of yourself private, so do they. Relationships are built on mutual trust, and when we overshare, we can inadvertently break that trust or make our loved ones feel uncomfortable, exposed, or disrespected. Not every part of the relationship needs to be discussed outside of it. Sometimes, silence is a form of honor. Further, the act of sharing too much can change the dynamic of the relationship itself. When you disclose intimate details or personal conflicts to others, it can create an unintended sense of distance between the people involved. What once was a shared, private moment becomes something that is now out there. Those moments lose their intimacy, and the connection between the individuals involved may begin to feel less personal and more transactional. By keeping certain things within the relationship, you maintain the special bond that comes from experiencing life together in private. There's also the issue of comparison. When you share your relationship details with others, there's always a risk that you'll invite comparison. The lives of others, however well-meaning, will inevitably be judged against your own. The more you share, the more likely you are to be compared to other relationships, whether that's about how well things are going or how things should be handled differently. This can put unnecessary pressure on the relationship, distracting from the connection between you and your partner, or your family, or your friends. Lastly, relationships evolve. They go through phases, both good and bad, and sometimes what feels significant in one moment may not feel the same a week or a month later. If you've shared too much during a difficult time, you may find that others' opinions stick around long after the situation has resolved itself. What you were once struggling with may no longer be a challenge, but those external voices may still linger, offering unsolicited advice or unwanted reflections on a time that has passed. In protecting the privacy of your relationship dynamics, you create a space where growth and healing can occur without the influence of others. It's a place where the bond between individuals can strengthen naturally, where moments of joy and hardship are handled with the understanding that not everything needs to be analyzed by outsiders. Health and wellness are deeply personal journeys. We often hear the phrase, health is wealth, and it's true. Our physical, mental, and emotional well-being are the foundation of everything we do. However, in a world where social media often broadcasts every step of one's health journey, it's important to recognize that not everything about our health needs to be shared. Some aspects of our health and wellness should remain private, not out of shame or secrecy, but because they are integral to our sense of self, autonomy, and personal peace. Health issues, whether they're physical or mental, can be incredibly vulnerable. No one wants to feel like their struggles are being dissected or scrutinized by others. For many, sharing health concerns with others is a personal choice, and it can be empowering to seek support. However, there is a difference between reaching out for help and oversharing details that can lead to unwanted opinions or even judgment. Every health condition, whether it's a chronic illness, a mental health challenge, or an ongoing wellness pursuit, is unique to the individual. The process of healing or managing one's health can be a deeply private one, and it's not always helpful for others to weigh in with unsolicited advice, comparisons, or expectations. There is also the danger of exposing ourselves to unnecessary sympathy or pity when we share too much. While well-meaning, others' reactions can sometimes make us feel more vulnerable, as if we are reduced to our health condition. People may see us through the lens of our struggles rather than our full personhood. This can distort how we view ourselves and how we are treated by others. Some individuals may treat us differently, either with an excess of concern or conversely, with avoidance. The imbalance created by too much exposure of our health struggles can complicate relationships, creating more pressure or discomfort than what already exists in the personal health journey. On the other hand, our wellness journey, including fitness goals, diets, and lifestyle changes, is another area that can feel overwhelming to share with others. While there's a growing trend of health influencers and a push for public accountability in wellness, the reality is that these public displays can often be harmful. Wellness is not one size fits all. What works for one person might not work for another. And constantly comparing one's progress or choices to someone else's can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Oversharing our health routines, be it daily workouts, meal plans, or progress, can inadvertently set up a space where we feel like we're in a constant competition or race to meet arbitrary standards. Keeping some aspects of health and wellness private allows us to tune into our own needs and make decisions without the interference of others. The process of trial and error, finding what truly works for your body, mind, and spirit, shouldn't be contaminated by outside expectations or advice. It's essential to build a relationship with your body that is rooted in personal understanding, not based on the validation or judgment of others. Your wellness journey is yours to own, and protecting its boundaries helps you maintain your autonomy and self-respect. Moreover, certain aspects of mental health should also be guarded with the utmost care. Mental wellness is often complex and layered. Anxiety, depression, trauma, and other psychological struggles may not be easily understood by those who haven't experienced them. By sharing every aspect of our mental health with others, we can unintentionally open ourselves up to misunderstanding or misrepresentation. Not everyone is equipped to handle the depth of someone's internal struggles, and sometimes those well-meaning listeners may only add to the complexity of what you are already navigating. It's important to seek professional help when necessary. Counseling, therapy, and support groups can provide the safe space needed to process mental health. But even in these settings, it's important to retain a level of privacy about our emotional and psychological states, especially in environments where others might not fully grasp the nuances of what we are experiencing. This protects not only our own peace, but the trust in the relationships we hold. We should never feel pressured to divulge every feeling or every setback to those around us. Doing so can sometimes create an emotional burden for both ourselves and the people we confide in. Ultimately, the decision of how much to share about our health and wellness is personal, and it should be made with careful consideration of what feels right for us. Keeping certain aspects of our health private is not an attempt to hide or ignore our struggles, but rather a way of protecting our mental and emotional space. It's about choosing when and with whom to be vulnerable, creating boundaries that allow us to heal, grow, and thrive without unnecessary external pressures. The power in this privacy lies not in isolation, but in the ability to control what we share and when we share it, ensuring that our health remains a source of personal empowerment rather than external commentary. Dreams and aspirations are the heartbeat of our future. They define our purpose, fuel our ambitions, and shape the course of our lives. Yet there's something profoundly sacred about the dreams we hold within. These hopes and desires represent not just our potential, but the most personal part of our identity. As much as we may want to share our dreams with others, it's often wiser to keep them private, especially in the early stages. The path toward realizing our deepest aspirations is personal, and too much external exposure can sometimes lead to doubt, confusion, or even derailment of the very goals we set out to achieve. One of the reasons it's important to keep our dreams private is the vulnerability they carry. Dreams are fragile things, especially in their infancy. They are often dreams that others may not fully understand or believe in at first. If we reveal them too soon, before they've had time to fully take shape or mature, we risk exposing them to ridicule, criticism, or doubt. The world is full of skeptics. And while some criticism can be helpful for refinement, much of it can be discouraging. When you share a dream too early, others may project their own fears and insecurities onto it, convincing you that your aspirations are unrealistic or unattainable. Not every person has the same vision, and sometimes their response isn't about the dream itself, but about their own limitations. Protecting your dreams from early exposure shields them from negativity, allowing them to grow strong on their own terms. Another reason to keep your dreams close to your heart is the power of manifestation. There's something special about nurturing a dream in silence, allowing it to become a reality through your actions without the noise of outside influence. The more we talk about our dreams, the more we risk talking them into oblivion. What I mean by this is that discussing them too much can sometimes dissipate the energy behind them. When we speak about our dreams without taking the necessary steps to bring them to fruition, we can feel as though we've already achieved them without putting in the work. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of discussing a goal, but the real work lies in quietly and diligently pursuing it. Keeping dreams private allows you to stay focused on the work, not on the validation or reactions of others. There's also the issue of comparison. In a world where we are constantly surrounded by others' successes, it's easy to measure our own dreams against theirs. The temptation to compare your progress or lack thereof to someone else's achievements can be overwhelming. Keeping your aspirations private minimizes this comparison, allowing you to pursue your goals without the pressure of keeping up or feeling inadequate. Everyone's journey is unique, and often what appears to be someone else's overnight success is the result of years of behind-the-scenes work. Protecting your dreams allows you to focus on your own journey without distraction. In addition, there's a certain level of power in maintaining control over your narrative. When you reveal your dreams to others too soon, you risk losing the element of surprise and the sense of accomplishment that comes from achieving something others didn't expect. There's a special kind of satisfaction in reaching your goal quietly, without anyone's doubts or expectations lingering in your mind. You get to define your success on your own terms, without the need for approval or validation. Dreams are deeply personal, and how you pursue them and when you choose to share your success should be up to you. By keeping your dreams private, you maintain the freedom to write your own story and share it with others when the time is right. Moreover, dreams are often fluid. They evolve, they shift, and they change as we grow. Sometimes the dream we start with is not the dream we end up pursuing, and that's okay. If you make your aspirations public too early, you might feel trapped by the original vision, even if it no longer resonates with who you've become. The beauty of dreams lies in their ability to adapt and evolve, and protecting them gives you the space to adjust without feeling pressure to explain yourself or justify the changes. Finally, keeping dreams private allows for deeper reflection and clarity. When we share our dreams with others, it can cloud our own judgment. Sometimes external advice or opinions can make us second guess what we truly want. Keeping your dreams to yourself allows you the time and space to determine with complete honesty what you really want and why you want it. It prevents external voices from contaminating the purity of your aspirations and gives you the space to build a plan that is entirely your own. By protecting your dreams, you create the opportunity for them to become a clear and intentional vision rather than something influenced by the desires or expectations of others. Spiritual life and personal faith are deeply intimate aspects of our identity, often formed through personal experiences, reflection, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. These facets of our lives can be sacred, powerful, and transformative, yet they are often overlooked or misunderstood when exposed to others too freely. In a world where everything seems to be on display, there is profound value in protecting and maintaining the privacy of our spiritual life and personal beliefs. Not every aspect of our faith needs to be shared, especially as we journey toward a deeper understanding of who we are and what we believe. The nature of faith is personal. It is shaped by our unique experiences, struggles, and revelations. What resonates with one person may not resonate with another, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach to spirituality. When we share the most intimate aspects of our spiritual life with others, we risk opening ourselves up to criticism, misunderstanding, or judgment. Faith is not about conforming to someone else's expectations or trying to fit into a specific mold. It is about finding a path that aligns with our personal beliefs and inner peace. The more we open up about our spiritual life, the more we expose ourselves to the potential for others to impose their own ideas or standards on us. The beauty of personal faith lies in its ability to evolve and grow, and this process is often best done in private, where the sacredness of our beliefs can be nurtured and protected from outside influence. Moreover, sharing the depths of our spiritual journey can sometimes lead to unnecessary debate or conflict. Spiritual beliefs can be incredibly diverse, and while healthy discussions about faith can be enriching, they can also become divisive. People often have strong opinions about religion and spirituality, and the more we share about our own journey, the more we invite the potential for disagreement or even judgment. Not everyone will understand or support the choices we make in our spiritual life, and when we expose too much of ourselves, we risk feeling pressure to defend or justify our beliefs. Spirituality at its core is about personal connection, and when we make it too public, we can lose the sense of peace and authenticity that comes from a quiet and private relationship with our faith. Keeping our spiritual life private also allows us to cultivate a deeper relationship with the divine. When we're constantly discussing our beliefs or seeking approval from others, we can lose sight of the direct personal connection we have with the higher power we believe in. Spiritual growth often requires solitude and quiet reflection, a space where we can listen to the whispers of our hearts and connect on a deeper level. This space is sacred, and by protecting it, we preserve the intimacy and authenticity of our relationship with the divine. Too much external influence or validation can create a sense of obligation to fit our spiritual practices into others' expectations, rather than following the unique rhythm that is meant for us. Another reason to keep our spiritual journey private is the potential for spiritual fatigue. When we expose our spiritual practices to others, we may feel the pressure to perform or live up to a certain standard. This is especially true when we live in a culture that often equates outward expressions of faith with personal virtue. However, spirituality isn't about performance. It's about authenticity and internal transformation. Constantly sharing our practices and beliefs can turn them into something we do for the approval of others, rather than for our own growth and understanding. The true beauty of a spiritual practice lies in its ability to transform us quietly and steadily over time, not in how others perceive us or our journey. Furthermore, the spiritual journey is often one of questioning and searching. There are times when we may feel uncertain, confused, or lost, and this is part of the process of deepening our faith. If we're constantly sharing our doubts, questions, or struggles with others, we may risk projecting a false sense of certainty, or we may unintentionally invite advice or opinions that aren't aligned with our personal path. It's important to remember that doubt and questioning are natural parts of the faith journey, and these moments are often the most powerful and transformative. Protecting these moments of uncertainty allows us the freedom to explore and grow without feeling the need to explain or defend our struggles. In addition, spirituality and faith often function as a source of personal strength and resilience. In times of hardship or challenge, it's our faith that grounds us and gives us the strength to move forward. Keeping this aspect of our lives private allows us to tap into that strength without outside distractions or pressures. It's not about hiding our struggles. Rather, It's about preserving the sacred space where we find peace, comfort, and support in our connection with the divine. By maintaining the privacy of our spiritual life, we protect the quiet power that sustains us during difficult times. Ultimately, the choice to keep our spiritual life and personal faith private is not about secrecy or hiding who we are. It's about protecting the sanctity of our beliefs, our connection to the divine, and the sacredness of the personal journey we are on. By guarding this aspect of our lives, we create the space for growth, authenticity, and a deeper understanding of who we are and what we believe.